Maybe you leave it Qimir and you kind of incorporate more of that into Qimir, and that can plant the seeds in little Ben Solo. And we can have baby Ben Solo running around here in the stories of the stranger, whatever his name could be.
Welcome to Unleashed. And don't forget to join us on Patreon for early access and exclusive content. Here are the guys.
Welcome to Unleashed. Like, subscribe if you're new to the channel. Have fun. We're talking. I want to hear what you got to say in the chat, in the comments, in all of it. That's what this is. It is a dialogue to be had. Is Qimir the greatest Sith of all time? Executive producer Heidi would say so, but I am of a different mindset. I would say absolutely not, 0% no. No, I'm not going to say that at all. I'm going to say potential to be one of the most fascinating, if not the fascinating, Star Wars villain in a long time, and Sith in a long time, would be Qimir the Stranger. We'll call him the Stranger in this, just because Qimir is like a fake name, I think. I don't know. I don't even know. We didn't get there in the show, and the show was canceled, so we'll never find out the answer to that posed question. I was a fan of the character. I thought that at first I wasn't really into the character, and then it became obvious that he was going to be the bad guy, the Sith user, the master, I suppose, of the Sith Padawan, of the apprentice. But then when he became the bad guy, I was like, okay, there was a switch. A switch was flipped, and I was like, I am in now. I am all in on this. Let's see where it goes. And it went in and I thought that character, I wasn't a big fan of a lot of the show. I wasn't a big fan of the show. I thought a lot of it fell flat. A lot of it was poorly written, in my opinion. If you have a different opinion, let me know. I want to hear it. But that's how I felt. I wasn't really engaged much, but I was engaged with the Stranger character. The Stranger character would show up and like, let's see what's going on. And we didn't get fully there. We saw the scars. Was he Venestra's Padawan? Obviously, Venestra had a Padawan in the High Republic books and comics, I believe. I haven't read any of it. 47 of people have. No, not on the High Republic. I know the numbers aren't very good for the High Republic. They haven't been good for the Acolyte or Andor. A lot of Star Wars. Star Wars isn't. I don't think have they been great for Outlaws? I don't know. Star Wars isn't the big bad that it once was. But Qimir is the big bad, and he was the big bad at the end of the show, albeit second in command to DP Darth Plagueis, who appeared from the Cave of Wonders at the end, or midway through that episode, which leads to speculate what was the plan going forward, if any. I wouldn't surprise me if there was no plan to go forward on this stuff. But if there was a plan going forward, what would it be with Plagueis, with the Stranger, and with Osha or May, whatever twin I think it was Osha, whatever twin he was with at the end. And where does it go? And part of the problem is, as Scotty Hawk said on the live stream last night, is we know that it ends with Darth Plagueis, right? Wherever their story goes, it has to inevitably end with Darth Plagueis, which will lead us to GVP Palpatine, and we all know where that goes. Now, the prequel trilogy, we didn't have a problem knowing where that was going when we watched that. Other people had other problems with the prequel trilogy, but it wasn't necessarily that we knew where it was going. Maybe it was. Maybe that was part of it. So this one we kind of know, but we don't. But the thing, like, the thing with the GVP and the Plagueis is, other than the James Lucena books, which are fantastic, is there's nothing canonical in there. There's nothing in there that says, like, this is the definitive story of what's happened, so you can kind of do whatever you want. And even if you look at those books as canon, I think there's still wiggle room, because they're so far removed yearly. Don't ask me, Kiadi Mundi. But they're so far removed by the centuries, almost a century, that you can build that story up. And I've seen theories all around, and I really like one that, maybe GVP kills Qimir at some point. That would be fun to see. But Qimir is old. Why is he old? There's so many unexplained stories going on. And is that his true form? And yeah, I mean, there's a lot of theories and speculations on other things as well. And I wanted to give a little talk today about a character that I think, but when you look at Qimir and how Qimir kind of like played both sides, obviously comes from when he's a lot smarter. He's a smarter Sith Lord. He doesn't seem completely obsessed with being evil, completely obsessed with manipulating anybody, right? He kind of does. He manipulates, but it's more strategic, right? He does it more cerebral. He lets you fall to the dark side without, just a subtle push, just enough, just kind of guides you in the direction, not over the top. Not, obviously with the Jedi, he was fine with killing everyone, but he doesn't have to do the dirty work himself. He's not all about that. There are more layers to Qimir. And he's holding a grudge. And I think part of the reason for him is that grudge, whatever grudge it is, that's what he's holding against the Jedi. And that's why he's using the dark side against them, is because of whatever happened in the past with Venestra, with possibly Saul. How did he meet the witches? Did he teach the witches about the Force? Did he tell them, like, did they give him the thread theory, and did he guide them in any way? He obviously knew about the versions of the versions of the Force over there. Was he sent there by Plagueis? Did Plagueis send him to that planet to find the versions, to figure out what was going on, because Plagueis wanted to live forever? There's a lot of questions, and again, Manny Jacinto crushed it as this role, and I fear the Maul Kira route is where they're headed, where we'll never get an answer, and if we do, it'll be in a book that 47 more people are going to read, and that'll be it. And it'll be like, oh man, I wish I knew what happened there. Well, on page 77, it actually says that he died a tragic death right after they held hands. Osha pushed them into the water below, and then Plagueis used Force lightning and killed him. It's like, great, cool. I'm so happy that we got that answer in a book that I haven't read, and nobody ever will. I'm very, very happy about that, and I'm not happy at all. I hope that we get more from that character. I think that character, of all the characters in the show, that character deserves more. I wasn't a big fan of a lot of the characters. That was my big problem. I wasn't a big fan of a lot of them. I like the death scenes that we got. I thought, they were great. The action was great, but the characters for me weren't. And I think Qimir was one that I would want more of, learn more about that history about him and Osha, maybe, that death joke aside, like what is their future path? I don't think we're going to get any more with Osha, but I think Qimir is a character. I feel like, I honestly will say this, even though the ratings were bad, I think they would be stupid not to bring that character back in live action, whether it be on Disney Plus or in a movie, potentially. I doubt it, but I think they would be dumb not to. I think you could explore a lot. Very interesting character. Reminds me of a bit of a character from Legends that I think is about time they brought into canon as well. Because you've got, I have a video coming about the EU and Legends, and how, maybe it's time to bring EU back, and that's dropping on Friday. Maybe it's time to bring the EU back. And I don't mean replace canon with it. I mean tell side stories and stories that are just legends. And I think with a lot of the legends, Dave Filoni pulls, there's always truth in legends was the line that was used. I think there's a lot of good to pull from Legends. I don't think you have to pull necessarily entire storylines from there, but there's a lot of good to be pulled from Legends, and it might do Star Wars. It might do Star Wars some good to pull some information from there. So there was a Sith user that I was thinking about, because Qimir is kind of different, but it reminds me of something. And then I realized what Qimir reminded me of, and that is what I want to end this podcast, YouTube video, whatever the heck this is, with. I want to talk a little bit about my boy Darth Vectivus. Darth Vectivus is one of the greatest untold stories in Legends. Vectivus was a Sith Lord who defied the dark side stereotype. Unlike the power-hungry Sith of legend, Vectivus ruled not through cruelty, but through wisdom, restraint, and balance. He was a wealthy businessman from a remote asteroid mining colony who, upon discovering a mysterious force nexus within the mines, became curious about its power. DV, thus Darth Vectivus, studied the Force with an academic's precision, eventually encountering the Sith and being drawn into their teachings. But unlike others before him, Vectivus did not seek to conquer the galaxy or dominate the weak. He maintained his mining empire, treating his employees fairly, managing his wealth responsibly, and continuing to live in the family home, surrounded by loved ones. His Sith training enhanced his understanding of leadership, enabling him to succeed where other Sith fell to arrogance or madness. The key to Vectivus' strength was his unique philosophy. The dark side was not a tool for unchecked domination, but a means to personal growth and balance. He believed in harnessing the dark side without succumbing to its corrupt influence. Vectivus never betrayed his friends or family, and never sought to murder or overthrow his Sith rivals. This was a rarity in Sith history, where betrayals and cruelty were the norm. His only significant conflict came late in his life when he was forced to defend his home from Jedi who misunderstood his intentions, believing him to be a threat. Vectivus proved more than capable of holding his own in battle, though he preferred negotiation over violence. Eventually, he passed away peacefully. His legacy remembered by only a few, including Lumia, the Dark Lady of the Sith, who later recounted his story to Jason Solo. You could do it. Recounted to Ben. Recounted to Ben Solo. Little Ben Solo. Start to plant the seeds in little Ben. What makes Darth Vectivus so fascinating is that his life stands as a testament to a Sith Lord who remained true to his principles. Avoiding the tragic fate of most dark side practitioners, his story raises the question, could balance truly exist within the dark side, and could others have followed his path if not consumed by ambition? This tale of moderation and wisdom is a tantalizing glimpse into an alternate Sith legacy, one rarely told in the larger galaxy. That is Darth Vectivus, a character that I think Qimir, there's a lot of parallels with Qimir. Obviously, Qimir is a lot more violent and not really into negotiating, but I think they're both kind of tactical. They're both very smart. They're intelligent, and they haven't completely let the dark side consume them. And so if you can find a way to bring Qimir back, maybe you don't bring this Vectivus into it, but at the end of the day, all roads are leading there. All of these roads are leading to the Battle of Yavin, right? They're leading to Empire Strikes Back, to Return of the Jedi, and to the sequel trilogy, like it or not. So that's where everything ultimately has to go from this time period. And if you can use Legends, a character like Vectivus, where you take that, incorporate that into a character like Qimir, which we already have, which I think most fans actually like. Like I said, I was a big fan of, and I don't want to say, I am gatekeeping. I think whatever I like stands. No, but I think a lot of people, even the ones that hated the show, would acknowledge that he was a standout in the series. And if he went further down the road and you showed more from his character, from what the character's been through, you can do that. And then if you can incorporate that into Ben Solo somehow, not in a book, maybe a book, but it would be better if it was somewhere else. You can use that. Leave Snoke out of it, but Ben Solo, maybe Snokey Snoke is the one that tells Ben Solo about the stranger, Vectivus, Qimir, whatever you want to call him, and that leads him into the path of darkness. We know it's coming. And that's part of the fun is who is Qimir? What is Qimir's endgame? I'm hoping they don't just, leave us empty, but we probably will. But what are your thoughts? Do you think they could tie him in like this? What do you think Qimir would do down the road? Would he be killed by Sheev Palpatine? Would he live on? Is he still alive in the Mandoverse? Are we going to get Qimir, the stranger, in the Mandoverse? Probably not. I think he's going to die. I would suspect either Plagueis or Sheev offed him at some point. He would suspect Sheev, but he would also, if he decides to succumb to the Sithness, if he goes down with the Sithness, then he would ultimately, I think, have to try to kill Plagueis, and maybe he is unsuccessful there, and Plagueis ends his life also. But then, of course, you have Osha. What do you do with Osha? Disney, I think, would definitely have Osha fade away from existence forever and ever. All right, everybody, I'm going to wrap it up for today. Just wanted to give you a talk about a character that I liked that I think would be a lot of fun to bring into canon. And very intriguing. Maybe combine him with someone like Qimir. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below or in the live chat. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Give us a like and a subscribe. And until next time, may the force of others be with you.
Hey, scumbags. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up on our video. As always, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Rebel Scum Podcast, for all the latest videos.